Hello, fine people of the internet. Today I am going to talk about a very useful resource, which is the Internet Archive. Now, the Internet Archive itself has many free books, particularly old books which have been scanned in, and by using the word search, I have been able to find some materials in Perthshire, Gaelic, which has been fantastic for me. I have also found multiple dictionaries and books talking about different dialects. There are lots of different books indeed in Scottish Gaelic. So just for that element on its own, even though the books are older, I very much recommend having a look at the Internet Archive. But the other part I wanted to mention was the borrowing function. There are some newer books, such as kids' books and grammar books and books that look at different verbs, etc., that are only maybe 20 or 30 years old. And they too are very interesting. In fact, I was looking through one such book by the author of one of the more modern dictionaries in Scottish Gaelic, and I was still learning things. I was still finding things that I didn't know about. The idea that the question words such as ko and je or guje or kach are kind of implicitly is in a way. So it's kind of like saying, what is it, which something something, I guess. Which is why they often stand alone. So you can say je something something, ha something something. So what is it, which is something something. So I still find myself learning new things, and I am constantly trying to learn new vocabulary, of course, but I absolutely find it to be a fascinating and interesting research tool. So if you were looking for somewhere to find books, have a look at the Internet Archive, because it has plenty of modern and old books, and many of the modern ones you can borrow temporarily. When you are reading them, you can write down whatever it is that you want to write down, and then once you are finished, it will go to someone else who will want to borrow it. Very recently, I have been studying, as I mentioned, through the use of video games and sentence or vocabulary lists. And I have to say, it has been exceedingly effective. Now, that's not to say that I don't forget things. I do, constantly. But I find that I'm able to recall more words and I'm able to understand more after having begun this process. I think I have been studying like this for about 3 to 4 weeks so far. This is why I haven't been posting as many sentence videos. It's because my method for studying has changed and it is more effective. The problem is I'm unable to record my playing the games and the vocabulary at the same time. Or that is to say, I can do it, it's just more difficult because I'm doing everything through my Steam Deck. And I don't have a professional microphone at the moment. I do, but it's in the other room and I can't use it at the moment because I have my son running around, etc. The only reason he's not interrupting this recording is because he's currently watching some videos. But it's a little difficult for me to record everything and to be able to sync it up, which is why I don't. Especially because I'm trying to study as much as I can in a short amount of time, only 10 minutes per recording or per session. If you are interested, here is the methodology. So I take a short list of words, depending on how brave I feel. Some days it could be like 12 or 15 words. Other days it might be about 7 or 8 words. And this could also include short sentences. And whilst I am playing the game, I use those sentences and words. But I try not to keep looking at the page, but instead try to recall the words and sentences as I'm playing. I find it highly effective because there is a lot of repetition, but I'm doing something I enjoy and I'm sitting there trying to recall the words as I do it. And I find it very effective. In fact, I was studying another language, Coptic, which I still study, for maybe about a year and 8 months, if I remember correctly. And I had been reading sentences over and over, and I just could not recall any of the vocabulary. And then I decided that I was going to try this method. What I had done in the past is I had written a script and then recorded the script over the video and tried to watch it back. But that wasn't exceedingly effective either. So this time I thought I'm going to be lazy and I'm just going to use the words as I play. And I found that it was far more effective than any of the other techniques I had used for study. So absolutely, I recommend giving it a go. I can't say that it will work for everyone because I'm not everyone. I'm just me and I have a somewhat unique brain. Not in a positive way. But if you are looking for a new method of study, please consider the method I have talked about. You can do it with videos and TV as well, where you try to comment on whatever it is that you're watching. But sometimes it's not quite as effective because you can't make scenarios for yourself. You have to follow the scenarios that appear on the screen. So that makes it somewhat less effective. But if you are interested, please give it a try. And thank you for all of the likes and the subscriptions so far. I'd be really happy even if just a couple of people were interested in primarily Perthshire Gaelic, but any of the other mainland dialects as well, because frankly, a lot of them are no longer spoken or just about to be no longer spoken, and that makes me quite sad. Anyway, everybody, have a nice day.